Hey, Heather.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good in yourself? Happy New Year?
Happy New Year. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Nope, I never do.
No.
I'm kind of against them. I believe in continual self improvement as opposed to doing it just once a year. So, no, interesting thing though is 2025 is the sum of the first nine cubes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I certainly think so.
Does that
Do
mean
you
it's
have
going to
any
be
New
a
Year's
lucky?
resolutions after I just put down people that make them?
No, I
Right.
don't. Does that mean 2025 is going to be a lucky year?
I don't believe in luck, so um,
You don't believe in luck?
I believe in the Gaussian curve. I believe in randomness. Um,
What about statistical fluctuation?
yeah, of course I believe in that, but but like let's say that like I had a really good day at video poker. I might say I was lucky, which kind of means like I threw a dart at a bell curve and it landed way in the on the right side. But I don't believe that luck is some kind of a force that causes good or bad things to happen. Um, Sometimes it feels that way, but I don't believe in it.
I believe luck is a combination, I'm probably saying the word wrong, of math, science, and psychology. Math being statistical fluctuation and probability,
Hmm.
science being space time, being at the right place at the right time. And then the third one is psychology, whereas it's your perspective. Some people might view certain things as good luck or bad luck depending on their perspective.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. So
Cool. Well, let's get started. If you guys have any gambling questions you want to ask Mike, please put it in the chat and we will get to it in the order that it is received. If you
okay.
have any New Year's resolutions, please put that in the chat as well.
Hmm. But before I
Uh,
do
you
that,
have you have a magic trick for us?
yes. So I'm going to start by writing a prediction, and I'm going to write it off camera. Um, let's see. Yeah, you guys can't see this. Okay. Here's my prediction. Make sure that you guys can see that somewhere. I put a P for prediction. Okay. So the way I would do this is I would ask an audience member to take some cards behind their back, but I'm just going to have to pretend this part. And then I would say, okay, think of a number between 1 and 12. So I'm going to look for the first number between 1 and 12 that I see in the comments. Someone give me a number between 1 and 12.
7.
It has to be in the comments.
Oh, in the comments. Okay, well, I'm looking in the comments. I thought you were talking to me.
Okay,
Uh,
so I would tell the person with the cards, I want you to take the top 6 cards off the deck, off the top, and put them on the bottom. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put them on the bottom. Then I would say, okay, hand me the cards. So now I have the cards. And then I'm going to put them in a circle like this. Is this right? I need one more. So you can see this kind of looks, there are 12 cards here. That kind of looks like a clock. And then I would say, okay, what was your card? And so Bowman would say it was a 6, and I would go, okay, let's pretend this is a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 6 o'clock. And I just blew it. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Give me another chance here.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we sticking with Bowman and 6?
Okay. The next number. Somebody else give me a different random number.
Okay. Real Deck says 5.
Okay. Okay. So let's start over. Okay. So Real Deck has the cards. He pulls off 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Puts them on the bottom. Then I make my circle. Okay. Then I say, what was your card? He says 5. Okay. 5 o'clock is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it still didn't work. This isn't funny for me.
I'm sorry.
All right. Give me one more chance.
Okay.
I swear this worked in my rehearsal before the show. Okay. One more time. Someone give me another number.
Alex Jones says 9.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put them on the bottom. Make a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so then I say, okay, what was your number? So I count it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Turn this over, and I do not understand why this is not working.
Are you supposed to start at 12?
I'm really upset at myself. This is really embarrassing, and this is a really easy trick.
You're starting at 11. Are you supposed to start at 12?
Maybe that's it. Let me give this a 4th try.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. Okay.
Real Deck says that you're starting at 1. So the camera might be reversed. Alex says he's fully invested now.
Okay. All right. I need yet another number.
Okay.
I want a nice fresh one, because you might have thought I was doing something sneaky knowing what the number would be. So I want the next number after Jackpot Warriors comment.
Jackpot Warriors comment. Okay. So the next number is Technic
3.
says
Okay.
3.
So here we go. Take the top 3. 1, 2, 3. Put them on the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to now put them in a circle. And where's my prediction? Here it is. Okay, there it is. All right, then I say, okay, what was the number? 1, 2, 3. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay. See, this is a black card, and let's see what my prediction was. It says, you will pick the black card. But big deal, you might say. Half the cards are black, or maybe all of them were. Maybe I stacked the deck. But look, all of the other ones are red.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I realized what I did wrong. I was going to explain this at the end of the show, but I'll just do it now.
Okay.
So here's what you have to do. Nonchalantly, before the trick even starts, First, you write down the prediction. You can say you will pick a black card, and then nonchalantly before you start the trick, you get 12 red cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a black one, and then at least 12 more reds. But you can do more if you want. I just do all the rest of the red cards. Okay? Then you put this on top of basically what's a bunch of black cards. Most of this you're not going to need. Okay, then the person takes some cards. Let's get another number here. Someone put natural 9. So let's say you tell them, okay, peel off any number of cards from 1 to 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. You put these on the bottom. Okay, then here's where I screwed up. When you put them in a circle, you start at the 12 o'clock position and then go backwards. So here's the top. I think someone said, maybe it was you, that I started at my 11 o'clock. But remember, start at the north, like farther away from you, and then put them down counterclockwise. Okay, so there's my circle. And then you say, okay, what was your number? It was 9. So then you pretend like it's a clock. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this should be the one black card. And there we go. And then you do the same thing. You show the prediction, and then you show all the red cards. So this is just a very mathematical trick. Yeah, and assuming you do it properly, it works every time.
Can we see that prediction one more time?
Sure.
There you go. Okay.
And there's a lot of other magic tricks that are, shall we say, based on this same principle.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay, sorry about that horrible presentation.
You're all good. I think we got a lot more enjoyment out of it because it was just something we weren't expecting, because your magic tricks are always, they always work.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I've had many audience members say that they like it more when I screw up. And I guess it's just a sense of schadenfreude people get in enjoyment in the suffering of others, but it's not fun for us magicians when we screw up.
I think it makes you more human. It makes you more relatable.
We don't want to be human. We want to be magic. Like a wizard. All right, enough about that.
Okay, so we'll start off with a couple gambling questions, and then we have some trivia for y'all.
Okay.
So the very first gambling question is from What's Cracking. What's the return to player percentage on most slot machines in Vegas?
It's pretty tight. I would say that on the Strip in downtown, it's going to be between 85 and 90. And at the locals casinos, it's probably going to be 90 to 92. So these are all very tight numbers. That means a house advantage of up to 15%. And slots are a very fast way to play. So it just goes to show why I always say that slot machines are a terrible choice when it comes to gambling.
What are the hands per hour for slots?
I don't know, around, just to make a guess, certainly between 1 and 2,000. I would say if the person is letting the reels stop naturally, it's probably going to be, I don't know, like 1,200. But if you're impatient like me and you're pressing that button to make them stop early, then it's probably going to be closer to 2,000.
Okay. Our next question is a fun one. This is from Jean, who says, today is National Science Fiction Day. What are some of your favorite sci-fi books, stories, TVs, movies, that type of a thing?
Okay, let me go back to the last question. Since you asked about hands per hour, let's just say that it's 1,200. And And let's say a typical bet on, let's say the player is betting $1 a spin. And let's say that it's just a 10% house advantage. That the math there is easy. You lose $120 an hour, which is a lot. So it goes to show, again, an illustrated example, why I don't recommend playing slots. Okay, so you asked about our favorite science fiction. I did not know it was Science Fiction Day. I love shows about aliens and robots, one or the other. So I love all the alien movies. The last one I wasn't so crazy about, to be honest with you, but in general, I love the alien movies, and I love movies like what was it called? Ex Machina, great movie. And I even loved a movie that did not get reviewed very well that I really liked was Megan. It was a movie about a robot in the form of like an 8-year-old girl. And so I just love movies like that.
That
And
was spooky.
I love the show Black Mirror,
Yes.
which granted is not about aliens nor robots, but I also love shows that question the very nature of consciousness and do we have a soul and things like that. And Black Mirror really gets into that topic. So kind of like Matrix kind of stuff, like what it really is reality. So with that, I will hear your answer, Heather.
Same thing. Battlestar Galactica with the robots and everything. The new one, not the old one. And then also to Firefly. Have you ever watched Firefly? Oh, that was such a good series. So, so good. And then, of course, I love Star Trek. Huge Star Trek fan. Love Orville. Have you seen the movie Arcane?
No.
Or not movie, it's a TV series. It's out on Netflix right now. That's really good. On Rotten Tomatoes, I think it got like higher than a 9 on every single episode, and no one has done that before. And then have you seen the show The Last of Us?
Was that the one with Pedro Pascal where there was like a
Yes.
virus and there was like this one girl who somehow had immunity and he was protecting her? Yeah, I did see that. I liked it.
Good, good. I like that one too. That was based off of a video game. I played both video games. I will not get started on my rant about the second one. So I'm interested to see what they do for the second season. I hope they change some things. And then have you ever read the book Ready Player One?
No.
One of my favorites.
I know that was a movie, but I haven't seen the movie either.
And I just recently finished the book Uglies by Scott Westfeld. That was really good too.
Okay. Oh, and this is also another show I like. And again, not that it's about robots or aliens, but I'm really enjoying the second season of Squid Games.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's freaky.
Yep. So I'm enjoying that now.
Cool.
Eager to get on with that.
Yeah.
So one episode a day.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't binge watch?
No, I just I try to extend the pleasure for a longer period of time.
Have you ever liked a TV show so much you have been binge watched?
I can't think so. Like you really can. Yeah, not. Yeah, I don't think so because I have a short attention span, and after 1 hour, I just want to, let that episode kind of absorb before I go on.
Cool. If you guys could put what your favorite sci-fi books, stories, TV shows, movies are in the comments, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this as well. Our next gambling question is from Jackpot Warrior, who says, is it possible to make a living on slots?
Yes. This is the secret is out of the bag now, perhaps partially because of me. But there's a lot of kinds of slots called accumulation slots or persistence slots where you vest into a bonus round. And if a recreational player left the machine close to hitting a bonus, then it's a good time to jump in and play it until you do hit the bonus. I've talked about this topic many times. My book talks about how to do this with about a dozen games. It's been talked about a lot on my forum. But you have to know the games, you have to know when to play them, and you really need to keep up with the new games because everyone knows about the ones that have been out for a long time, like the ones I write about in my book. But yeah, if you keep up with the new ones and know when to play them, which is not easy, yeah, people were making good six-figure incomes doing this. But again, the cat is out of the bag and it's a lot tougher than it used to be. So that is my short answer to that one.
If someone wants to make a living off of playing slots, what would be a good way to get started? Like, are there any books to read, websites to go look at?
Well, let me show you my book if I have a copy nearby. Where did I put it? Here we go. So this is the third edition of my book, the purple one. So this has a whole expanded chapter on vulturing slots. This is all new to the third edition. So here I lead you through these games right here of when to know when they're ripe and you should play them. And I'll just tell you one of them right now, just for free. One that you still see a lot is called Buffalo Ascension. And where's my page on that? Here we go. Here's my page on Buffalo Ascension. And this game, as with some of these other games, has what I call stacks, where the size of the number of symbols that you see on any given reel goes up and down. And in this game, every time you get an arrow symbol, that stack grows by one. So when that happens, there are more ways to win because you get every single possible way to win on the game. And also when these stacks reach the top, then you get some kind of either a fixed win, like a jackpot, or you get what's called a stampede. And a stampede is like a bonus. So the trick with Buffalo Ascension is to play it if the number of ways, like you can see a picture here that shows the number of ways that there are, which is a product of the size of all the stacks. And if you get to 3136 or more, then it becomes a good play. And in case you think, oh, that's awfully specific, 3136 is 4 times 4 times 4 times 7 times 7. So remember, you can remember 64 times 49.
And that's on page 96?
Yep. But again, I just told you, so you don't need to buy the book for that.
No, buy the book.
So,
definitely buy the book.
Well, you can buy it if you want to. I'm a horrible salesman. But there you go.
And that's Gambling 102 by Michael Shackelford?
Yep.
Awesome. Go buy it now. It's on Amazon. Don't listen to him. Go buy it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so Delbrickson wanted to wish us a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
And MV Living the Dream says, if I play roulette with a partner and I play first and second dozen, and my partner plays second and third dozen, loser triple martingales after each loss. Is this a winning strategy?
No, nothing is a winning strategy. There is not only can't you not win at roulette, you can't even dent that 5.26% house advantage on a double zero wheel. So, yeah, nothing is a winning strategy.
And the next one is from Natural Nine, who says, do you think randomness is a pattern regardless?
No, no. Like I said, everything, like if you add up a lot of bets, it's like throwing a dart at a bell curve. And, and yeah, that's just the nature of mathematics. And there's just no pattern to it.
Okay.
In fact, let me show you guys another interesting thing.
Okay.
I got this at the Math Museum in New York City.
Ooh.
So you can see there's a bunch of balls down here. And I'm going to turn it upside down, and they're going to all go through this Plinko board. Okay, so I should have started it like this. Let me see if you can see it better like that. So I'm going to turn it over, and they're going to all go through this Plinko board. And let's see what kind of shape all these hundreds of balls make.
How cool.
That, they just about exactly form a bell curve, as you can see by that yellow line that is on the Dalton board, or is it Galton board itself. So it's just it's a perfect example of the bell curve at work that you can see in just 1 second. And the equation to that bell curve, I might ask, is e to the negative x squared divided by 2, I believe. Yeah, so that is that. So it isn't just a random curve. It actually, that is the equation to it. So there you go. That's my answer to that one.
I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Gene has a quote that he would like to say. The quote is, I am a firm believer in luck. I find the harder I work, the luckier I am, from Thomas Jefferson.
Right. But of course, he is actually, really he's saying that he doesn't believe in luck, that it's about hard work. And, and I totally agree with Thomas Jefferson there. I really think that hard work pays off, but also smart work. And so, yeah, I can't think of anything more to say on that.
You don't think someone's going to win the lottery by sitting in their basement watching TV all their life?
Well, it's usually somebody like that who wins. But somebody has to. But that person, again, it wasn't like that as a lucky person. He was just had the right numbers. Somebody has to win eventually.
Right place, right time.
Yep.
So Real Dick says, the last live stream I had asked about adding a Super Omaha to your site, and you had mentioned that you had mentioned another company, but I wanted to make sure you knew I was talking about the Galaxy Gaming one.
Well, if you're with Galaxy, I have a very good relationship with them. They're welcome to approach me anytime they want and say, Mike, please write up this game. And I happily will. So, and I extend that privilege to anybody. So, I love to write about new games. There's been a real shortage of new table games lately. So anyone is welcome to submit to me to add to my site any table game they want, as long as it has at least one placement somewhere on Earth.
Awesome. And then the next question we have, and then we'll do a trivia question, is Technics, who says, along with the house edge, you note the standard deviation of a game. How much does the standard deviation determine the return to player of the game? Does SD deviation measure a game's volatility and or variance?
It has absolutely nothing to do with the house advantage or the RTP, and it has everything to do with the volatility or the variance. In fact, the variance is the square of the standard deviation. So yeah, that's an easy one.
Awesome. Okay, let's do a trivia question. And this is a New Year's trivia theme that we are doing. In what year did the ball lowering celebration in Times Square first take place?
I'm just going to have to give a wild guess there.
Nope, you are too high.
Okay.
It's lower than that, older than that. So our next one is Sacketh says, can you share your Ultimate Texas Hold'em code?
It's funny you ask. The last couple of months, I have put out on YouTube a whole series of videos on how to code Ultimate Texas Hold'em, which is a difficult game to code. But I believe with the very last part, I include a link to the code that I developed in that video. So yeah, it's right out there on a file sharing site that I pay for, and anyone is welcome to grab that code for free.
Awesome. So they go to the latest Ultimate Texas Hold'em video, and it's in the description.
Well, I'll just go there myself real quick, just to make sure it's there. So I'm going to go to wizardofodds.com, and then I'm going to scroll down to the footer and click video. And then I'm going to look at stuff from 2024. Okay, no, it's on the right-hand side. It's called Wizard of Odds Academy. So I'm going to click on part 4. I believe there were 4 parts. And yep, and here it is right there at the bottom of the video description on YouTube. It says links, and then it says code developed in the video. In fact, I'm just going to click on that just to make sure it works. And there it is. I'm looking at it right now. So this is hundreds of lines of code. It's 592 to be specific. So there it all is on a silver platter for you guys.
Awesome.
And it just goes to show that I am not some quack copycat. I do all my own work, all my own analysis, except for very rare exceptions where I do give proper credit. And yeah, so I absolutely take personal responsibility for everything on my site. The math is done by me, this person right here.
How many people have you had come up to you and say that you didn't do it?
A lot of people say that they think that, for example, with blackjack, that every blackjack writer is just quoting Ed Thorpe, and maybe he made a mistake. But no, his work has been replicated time and time again, including by me. So I do not, again, with very rare exception, I do all my own work. Even though a lot of it has been done already, I just enjoy doing the work. And, the very rare exceptions might be something like there was a game called Lunar Poker that would have been a ridiculously hard analysis, but James Grosjean did it. So, and it's such an obscure game that I didn't think it was a good use of my time to analyze that one. So if you go to my site and click on Lunar Poker, also known as Russian poker, I quote what James Grosjean said and give him all the credit.
Very cool. Our next question comes from Paul Andrews, who says, Happy New Year. Are there any newer video poker variants that you really enjoy, and how can I learn how to play it properly?
Well, there's always new video poker variants coming out, and I am quite good about writing about them. And I like to go to videopoker.com, which is a free website where you can play for free all kinds of versions of video poker, as well as video Keno. Now, you do need a gold membership to play anything that is really brand new, which I do have. But I really like that website. And again, they do have an entry-level free membership, but you can't play anything, and you might have to suffer some advertising with that one.
Yeah, that seems to be the case with everything nowadays.
It's fair.
Okay, let's see if you guys have an answer to the trivia question. And it doesn't look like Jim says 1934. Dalbrickson says 1918. And those are the only two guesses. So you guys made it easy. The answer is 1907.
Okay, I said 1925, but I really just didn't know.
Okay, so the next trivia question is, how much confetti drops in Times Square on New Year's Eve?
Do you want an answer like in terms of the weight of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to say, there you go.
Yep, you're correct.
I am?
Yeah.
Really?
According
that was just an educated guess. Who knows, maybe I heard it and it just stuck in my brain somewhere in the back part I can't easily access.
I bet that's it. It's always fun to get those random facts stuck in your head.
Yeah, I never thought I would get that one right.
So our next gambling question comes from Ray, who says, have you ever had to work on a slot machine for use with bingo or virtual lottery terminal? And how does it transform the bingo or scratch ticket results into little bonuses and awards?
Yes, I have. I hate class 2 projects, which means bingo based. I used to do a lot more than I do now, but what it means is that in some jurisdictions like Oklahoma, at least how Oklahoma used to be, is they only legalized bingo, but you could play bingo electronically, and they could display to the player how much you won, however they wanted to. So if you play what looks like a slot machine, what's really going on is there's a draw of bingo balls. And let's say that it draws 30 of them. Various patterns, and there's hundreds of them, will determine what you win. So let's say you cover a certain pattern that corresponds to winning $1.50. The game will just show you anything on the slot machine where you won $1.50. So that part of it is totally contrived. And there's also a little bit of a competitive element, like 1% of the RTP is they will, secretly match up like people that play this game like within 1 second of each other, and they could be in completely different casinos. And the one that, shall we say, covers a certain pattern first gets like an extra little prize. But it's like a 1% competitive element, and say like 89% in what they call consolation prizes. But where it comes to designing these games, it is a huge headache. It's very tedious to come up with patterns to cover every single possible win. So the way I personally do it with a slot machine is, first I design it as a class 3 game, then I run it through simulations to figure out what are like the 100 most common wins and what are their probabilities. and then I determine patterns that that achieve these probabilities. So I will tell the slot maker, okay, this pattern means pay this, that pattern pays that. And if they want to, I can tell them like what they can display on the slot machine to match these patterns. And I'll give them like a file, like 1,000 different things for each win. And they just pick one randomly to show to the player. But the work is, again, really tedious and boring. So I have now, whenever I get a class 2 inquiry, I refer them to one of my competitors in Washington State who is much better with that kind of work.
Okay. Jim wants to compliment you on your shirt. He says you have a very nice t-shirt.
Thank you. Yes, I got this in Cleveland. I like Cleveland. Everyone makes fun of Cleveland, but I think it's my favorite big city in the northern Midwest. What's
your favorite thing about it?
It just has like an edgy kind of quality that I like to it. And, I think people there kind of have a chip on their shoulder. But I like that. I don't like it, kind of the snobbery attitude of people like, say, in San Francisco, where there's just so much pride about their city. I don't know. There's just something about the vibe of Cleveland that I like.
Awesome. Miami Boy says, thinking about going to Las Vegas with 2 teenagers. Would you recommend it or no?
Not really. Vegas is not that good of a place for teenagers. Lately, it is getting better with places like Area 15, and it is getting better with attractions that aren't gambling related, and you might take them to magic shows and things like that. But nevertheless, I would not do it.
You could do it. Just to let you know, though, teenagers are not allowed on the casino floor. You have to have an ID and you have to be 18 or older. So you can't be walking around on the casino floor with your 2 teenagers. They have something. Have you ever heard of the zombie paintball thing where you're inside, it's in a warehouse, and there are houses in this warehouse, and then zombies come out of the houses and you use a paintball gun and you shoot the zombies?
I have not, but to correct something you said earlier, is as long as the teenagers are like moving from point A to point B, like they're going from the parking garage to the elevator to get to their room, that is allowed. Maybe they have to be escorted. I'm not sure, but yeah. But what casino by my house, the Red Rock, has a big movie theater, a bowling alley, and lots of fast food. And to get from, say, the bowling alley to the fast food, you do have to go through some part of the casino. And they have a lot of signage that says, like, after I think 9 p.m., anyone under 21 must be escorted by an adult. So I'm pretty sure that before 9 p.m., as long as the kids are not being too disruptive, and they're at least like walking between, like they're walking with a purpose, like I'm going to the Panda Express or whatever, then it's allowed. And I do see lots of teenagers there. Okay, so there was another question?
There's a ton of questions. What are you talking about? All
right, let's go on to a new topic.
New topic. Okay. What do you think of Optimus Robot?
I don't even know what that is. Heather?
I don't know what that is either. So there you go.
Yeah. I've heard of Optimus Prime. He was on the Transformers, right?
I don't know the Transformers very well.
Neither do I. I think I've only seen the one movie, and it's basically about robots that can take the form of a car, but they can also like transform themselves into what looks like kind of like a very, like a robot. And they're very strong, and some are good and some are bad. And And I just know one of them was called Optimus Prime, but I don't remember if he was good or bad or any of the details.
I watched the cartoon in the 80s when I was a kid, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, enough about that.
I'm not sure if you've used ChatGPT and other AI tools recently, but what do you think about the hype surrounding machine reasoning?
I'm very underwhelmed by AI. First of all, I think it's not intelligent at all. I think that it is just stealing the work of real people. And I I recently had a friend who was applying to be a permanent resident. And to do that, you need to have people like write these letters of support or recommendation or whatever. And she had a very difficult time finding anyone to write these letters. So she basically had AI write them for her.
Oh
And
no.
and you could just tell they were written by AI if you knew what to look for. They just lacked a certain soulfulness, and they just had a stilted just way of just like spraying you with facts. Um, and everything was very, had perfect grammar and everything, but it just lacked a soulful quality. And, and if like one time I needed like an image of like some women rolling dice. So I asked ChatGPT for that, and the dice were just not accurate. They didn't look like real dice, and lots of times, especially if you ask for multiple people, they will have extra hands and things like that. So, and every time I give this opinion, people say, "Oh, but it's getting better exponentially," and who knows what the future is going to bring. But yeah, I'm really just not impressed at all with it.
I've tried to use Midjourney for casino games and dice. The dice will be like 4 4 4 on every side, or it'll give me like 8 instead of 6,
Mhm.
and it's like, what the heck is this? This is so horrible. And it can't do like blackjack games, it can't do craps games. If you look at the layout, all of the text on the layout is just gibberish, like it came from an alien planet and everything. It's so bad.
Yep. Okay. So there you have it. There's our answer to that one.
Hitchhiker Galaxy, Guide to the Galaxy is a good book to read.
Yeah, I
Have you
agree.
read that?
One. I should
Awesome.
probably give the sequels a try sometime.
There's sequels? I didn't know there were sequels.
Oh yeah, the author, who was the author? Um, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, he wrote a bunch of other books. Um, like I believe in one of them, like at the very beginning, like the Earth is destroyed. Um, anyway, but yeah, I think there's like five of them.
Awesome. I got to check that out. We'll do one more question and then we'll see if you guys have an answer to the trivia question. Roberto says, since Harry Reid International Airport is U.S. federal property, they do not have the right to 86 players from the airport. So does this make it a good place to slot vulture them?
It is good, but not so much for that reason. It's because the airport gets a lot of recreational players who are the ones that do abandon machines in high states. And there's very little competition from other vultures because you need a boarding pass to get in there. So I make it a routine that when I'm flying out of the Vegas airport, to arrive there with at least a solid hour to vulture. And after a recent experience, I like to have like at least 1,000 in cash on me, just in case I find a good game that's expensive to play, like $5 a spin. So
Okay.
yeah. So and getting 86 for vulturing is not something that happens that much. I have been hearing a little bit more about that, but that's not a major concern for vulturing. The major concern is just competition from other vultures.
Hmm. Okay. So the trivia question that I asked was how much confetti drops in New York in Times Square on New Year's Eve? And we had a couple people answer, and both of them were correct. Dow Brixton says 3 tons. That is correct. Jim also said 1.5 tons. The answer is more than 1 ton. So if you said higher than 1 ton, you were correct.
Oh, okay. I thought I was exactly right, but yeah, good question.
Thanks. Our next trivia question is in what country is it traditional to jump off a chair at midnight on New Year's Eve to avoid having bad luck in the new year? So if you guys know, put that in the chat. Our next gambling question. Someone was responding to the sci-fi, and Gene says he likes Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and E.T.
Okay.
Roberto says an AP slot pro told me the boom is over 3 or 4 years ago. He was finding 50 plays a day, and now he's only finding 10 plays a day. And that number of AP games have increased from 50 to 350 in that time.
Yeah, that's a good comment. And I've heard other people make similar comments that vulturing slots is either dead or it's near dead. And furthermore, the industry, I think, is starting to catch on to this problem. And I think they are going to be slower to make what they call persistence games in the future. Because it's said that when a new one hits the floor, they do really well, but they drop off quickly, which doesn't surprise me because the recreational players get killed on these games. And if a player gets killed in a game, they're not going to come back and play it again. Yeah. Yep. I echo that sentiment that vulturing is that we're way past the prime. Excuse me, we're way past the peak on that.
Technic says, I was at a casino that offered an alternative Baccarat table with no commission on banker wins. But instead, a banker 3-card win, total of 7 was a push. What's the math behind the 3-card 7 push?
Yeah, that's all on my website too. In fact, I think it's in my book as well. Let's go to my Baccarat chapter. Okay, so what you're talking about is called easy Baccarat. There, the house advantage on the banker bet is 1.02%, which is lower than in standard Baccarat, which is 1.06%. And there's another variant called, I call it Nepal Baccarat, but I should probably quit calling it that because nobody else does. And that one, if the banker wins with 6, it pays 1-2. And that one the banker bet has a house advantage of 1.46%. So that is all in my Baccarat chapter of Gambling 102. Buy it if you wish.
Go buy it.
Thank you.
Alex Jones wants to know, thinking about YouTubers who are creating content by solely playing slots, is there a risk of the YouTube algorithm discriminating against gambling content at some point, stopping their monetization?
I've heard they already have a hard time with that because the casinos tend to play music in the background, and it's all copyright protected. And so as soon as you put up a video that has any music in the background, there's going to be a monetization claim, and you won't be able to monetize it. So that's happened to me lots of times. But I don't think YouTube is ever going to stop allowing that because there are so many people doing this, and I'm sure YouTube does well with that. So Yeah, I tend to doubt that YouTube is going to forbid that.
Bowman says, I bought your book for a friend last year.
Thank you.
Yes. And Roberto says, I never thought we would see Mike playing Plinko on the show.
I, I like Plinko because it's a very it's a very mathematically interesting game.
So Xavier says, is blackjack and baccarat the only profitable games in the casino, and why? Which one is better from the two?
Well, I'm not sure who you mean profitable for. Every game is profitable for the casino. And as long as the blackjack pays 3 to 2, then blackjack is the better one for the player.
Okay. Miami Boy says, have you looked at the ESPN bet to give an opinion on how it matches up against others?
I don't understand what the ESPN bet is. So sorry.
And your 3136 entry point on Buffalo Ascension assumes what RTP?
To be honest, I got that number from a professional slot vulture, and I bounced it off a different slot vulture, and he agreed with it. But they generally assume like a 90% RTP.
Okay. Odds says casinos that make you pay the VIG on wins and rounds down the VIG on craps. Is it true that it effectively can reduce the house edge under 1%?
Well, let's see. A good example of that is the buy bet on a 4 and a 10. So I've heard that if you bet $25, paying 5% of $25 is, or 5% of $25 is $1.25, but you can round it. They round it down to just $1. So let's see. So the player, so there's a 1 in 3 chance, and I'm going to assume that the VIG is only charged on a win. So there's a 1 in 3 chance the player profits $49, and a 2 in 3 chance he loses 25. So that comes to, no, that can't be right. So that still has a house advantage of 1.3%. So yeah, my answer to that is maybe there's some situation I'm not seeing, but I don't think you can get that house advantage under 1% that way. However, you can easily get it under 1% by just making line bets and taking the full odds.
Okay. And Xavier says, which is a better game to play for profit, blackjack or poker? And
well,
why?
I'm not sure if you mean poker or video poker. I'm going to assume you mean video poker. And in that case, video poker has really been drying up lately. So I'm going to go with blackjack.
Okay. Now we have just a minute or two left. So let's see if you guys have an answer to the trivia question. Technic says China. Jim says Japan. Delbrickson says Scandinavia. I don't see any other answers for that. And the answer to the trivia question is Denmark. Denmark is where you have the tradition where you jump off a chair at midnight to avoid having bad luck in the new year.
I did not know that. That is interesting. I thought Danish people were very kind of shy and, not exuberant at all. So the next time I meet a Dane, I will have to ask about that.
Awesome. So when is the next time we're going to do a Wizard of Oz live stream?
How about January 23rd?
Sounds good. And
Okay.
if you guys didn't get your question answered, then please join us on the 23rd. Ask the question again. And we will answer them as we can. We
Okay.
got a lot of questions today, so we'd probably be here for another hour if we answered them. Roberto says, thank you so much for the Q&A and Happy New Year to you both.
Thanks, Roberto. You too. And yeah, thanks everyone for participating, and I'll see y'all in 3 weeks. And thank
See
you
you
too,
later. Always my pleasure.
Heather. Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.